What's up, HyperFast Nation? On this episode of the show, I sat down with an amazing lady who's building a real estate empire in South Florida at one of the fastest paces I've ever seen for an agent that's only been in the business for a year. Welcome to the show, Kacie Anderson. Welcome to the show today, Kacie. How are you doing?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. You've got a tremendously amazing story about how you got into real estate and just like how fast you're building a group down here, team in South Florida. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you've gone from like just you to almost 10 agents now, and it just seems like in a couple months.
Well, I am trying to be like you and your wife. So hopefully I can be the next Carrie Shull team, even though there'll never be a next Carrie Shull team, but that's what I'd like to be here in South Florida while you guys are killing NBC.
Well, how did you end up in real estate?
So I was helping my dad with pest control, and my dad used to be the VP of Termites, and essentially he's like, you know what, I'm going to get out of this. I'm a driver, I'm going to start my own business. And he started his own pest control company up north. So I was really helping him. I was his right-hand girl and constantly dealing with high-end clients, wood destroying insect reports, which up north it's, WDIs, down here it's WDOs. So I was constantly dealing with realtors, and I was realizing like, oh my gosh, like these agents are making so much money. Like I was like, and here I am just like trying to explain, termites and, giving $75 for a report. And I'm like, shoot, like I could go out and sell this house. Like, what the heck? So, my husband and I, we got married. Eventually, we moved here. We've been here going on 10 years. And I kind of pivoted and I went into the mortgage world. And I was with the best mortgage brokerage. I learned a lot. We were the top 1% in the country, number 1 in Florida. And again, mortgage brokers are so capped, at what they can make commission-wise compared to agents. So I was like, I want to get out of this. I want to get into real estate. I'm so bored sitting behind a desk and just talking about numbers. Like, I want to go, make some big money. And at the same time, I want to cultivate a team that has a very firm foundation for agents to grow and feel comfortable. And that's what I did. So I transitioned out of mortgage world. I took everything I learned from my dad in that business and I implemented it into my real estate business. And
And you started off on a team, right? Before you went out and did your own thing?
I did. So I was with Remax. And honestly, I was so green as an agent that I was just kind of like, come over here, this is what we do. I didn't really see, anything past that brokerage. And it wasn't until I got into Remax where I started studying other brokerages. I started like kind of getting traction on my social media, not only in mortgage world, but as an agent. And so people started to recruit me, and I started to sit back and listen and like, what exactly is it that you offer? And then from there, I just realized, wow, like there's so much more out there other than just Remax. I think I was paying like $300 a month, huge annual fee. Plus my splits were like ridiculous. By the end of the day, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like giving so much money away. And so for me, like I said before, my dad is a driver, was VP of Terminex, and even though that sounds all glorified and great, like you're still like paying out so much money and not, getting what your value is.
Right.
So that's why he branched off and did his own thing. So I compared, brokerages, boutique, smaller brokerages to Compass, Sotheby's. Love those people that I met, but I'm a numbers girl, just like you and Carrie and the rest of the world should be in real estate. But for me, as far as numbers is concerned, it's like, if you're making $350,000 or you're selling a house for $350,000, let's say you get like a standard 3% buying agent percentage. when you actually break that down and you compare, and you don't even put, company names, but you break it down and you see exactly what you could make, it's sick. Like how much money is just being thrown away. So I was like, okay, I'm going with EXP. I feel a lot more freedom in my brand to cultivate a team and an environment. And I also felt more, financially free in that way. So that's what I did.
Well, I think that's interesting and really common, actually. Like, new agents don't really study the models in particular. Like, when I was a new agent, I joined Century 21 because they helped me buy a house at one, before I got my license, and that was like all I knew. And
you sold how much your first year? 22 million?
yeah, 22 and a half.
So can you imagine?
So at the end of that year, like, I paid my local broker $30K, which isn't that bad compared to a lot of other places. And it was probably a little bit more when you add in the transaction fees and whatnot. But
Right.
But then I paid corporate. Like 6% of over $500,000 GCI. So I paid corporate like 30 grand.
That makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I bought them a car, and I never got a lead from corporate. I never got a lead from the local broker that I closed. Like, they gave me some what I would call bad leads, but every deal I closed was my own that year. And I don't know what I got from corporate. Like, I didn't use their CRM or anything that they offered. I mean, they bragged a lot about how Century 21 had a Super Bowl commercial that year, and I was like, oh, I guess my 30 grand went to pay for that, 4.5 million 30-second spot. But no client called me and said, hey, I just saw a Super Bowl commercial. Can you come list my house?
Yeah.
Like, that didn't happen. So.
And did you get to close like your deals in your name, or like did you?
Yeah. I wasn't on a, I was not on a team. I was a solo agent on my own there. So that's, there's teams, agents, solo agents, brokerages, right? Kind of.
Which is good. Like,
a bunch
I
of
didn't
different
get
things.
That luxury.
Yeah.
And a lot of agents that I talk to, they don't get that luxury. So, with me, I was like, how can I build a team, but still have the structure for my agents to close everything out in their name? Because it's like, you didn't work so hard. I didn't work so hard over the years to build a brand, to take, the course, to go through everything that you went through with studying, and then put whatever career that you might have been in that time while studying for your real estate license on hold to really, get successful in real estate. So it's like, for me, I never wanted agents to feel like, gosh, I'm closing all my deals out in a group leader's name. That sucks. And
Right.
so it's super common for people to be on a team and for that structure to be like that. So I wanted to make sure like I didn't take that away from my agents, especially in their first years,
Well, and I think there's all different ways to do teams. You can have the traditional model where the team leader is spending tons of money and generating good leads, and we've had people thrive in that system and make 400, 500,000. But there's a lot of bad examples of that too, which I think you unfortunately got into a bad version of that model.
Well, I think you and Carrie you guys have such a healthy foundation, and here in Florida, like, it's so much different than DC or up north, and like there's a lot of that from what I've been learning, just from like interviewing agents, or not even. I have people constantly reaching out, like asking what those structures are like, and just like blown away, like, what? That's like a thing, like you guys offer that, and so like I didn't realize how big of a deal that is down here.
Well, I think if you're a new agent, you really need to study not only the team but the brokerage model, and like these uncapped systems. I think they just are making less and less sense. I mean, there's the uncapped system where you're paying like the international franchise fee, and then there's the models where you're paying like 10, 15, 20% of everything uncapped, even on your own deals. And Like there's people literally buying like Lamborghinis for their their corporate, company every year, and the commissions they pay.
I'm buying a Lamborghini this year, right?
Right. No, I mean they're like the amount of commission they pay their broker could buy a Lamborghini.
I know, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm buying myself a Lamborghini this year because of the model that I chose, and so.
But I just think a lot of agents don't study the numbers, and then they get busy and they don't study the numbers, and most of them have no idea what their actual P&L is, or, I have these conversations all the time with agents, and they think they're on this split, and I'm like, well, what about this fee, that fee, that fee, and then they thought they were on an 85% split, and really they're paying like 70 or 75, and I think more agents need to just study the numbers and make sure you're getting what you pay for. Like if your broker is giving you a ton of leads and you're closing them, it might make sense,
Yeah.
If not, I mean, let's face it, the technology in the business is all a commodity. Everything you need to run your business is pretty much off the shelf these days. Like, it's broker agnostic when it comes to CRMs and marketing systems, and I mean, everyone can use Canva, right?
Right. And for me too, it's like, with brick and mortar, right? You have to think about, and I had this conversation with a new agent last week, if we're, suffering inflation and costs are going up, leases are going up, those prices that are going up for these companies that are on, major streets, and they have to offset the cost, who's going to eat that cost?
Oh, yeah. No,
the
it's just getting
agents.
passed on, yeah.
And so it's like, what I signed up to be a $225 transaction fee is now, $3.99, and it's coming out of my check or whatever, just minor expenses. And so for me, I think the future and where we're going, like, we don't have that crazy overhang, and we're not going to constantly worry like, okay, each year, like, this cost is going to go up, this cost is going to go up, and we're going to have to pay all these people that are working in the office that don't even have their license, but, are core players to the team and closing a transaction for us as agents. But in the end, if it's something that you can do, or you can hire somebody for less, VA or, a transaction coordinator online, I would like to keep that cost the same year after year, rather than constantly worrying like, okay, is my broker going to up the cost this year?
What do you think has led to your rapid growth? To both, I mean, I've been shocked by the amount of like buyers and sellers you're working with, and the number of agents that you are adding. I mean, I just haven't seen someone, a year or so into the business add clients, add agents at the pace you have, and you're basically all over Palm Beach, Broward, Dade County now, it seems like. How are you doing that?
I'm going to give you a really honest answer.
Okay.
And you're like not going to believe me, but I honestly, like, I really believe in just like leading with being authentic and transparent with, like, providing value, truly wanting agents to succeed, and just, giving them tips and tricks for free, even if they're not on my team. And when I'm posting on my social media and I'm doing different things, I have agents all the time like messaging me like, how do you do this, or can I copy this reel? And I'm like, sure, I don't care. And I think I'm not as like hungry and thirsty to like, you should be on my team and this is why, like, just providing value. And then with that, people I think are attracted to that. They reach out, they want to know more, and then I just like really get to know them on like a deeper level as much as I can, as much as time allows me to. And then they end up just coming over. And they have such a great experience, and I'm partnered with so many amazing people that they have great experience with, like, the people that I'm partnered with. And then they end up coming over and they spread the word. And then, like, same goes for buyers and sellers online. Like, they're seeing just success of me communicating with people and, like, live interaction on my social media. Like, my clients will friend me on Facebook or friend me on Instagram and, like, write really nice stuff, and I just repost it, other people see it, and I think it just is authentically like growing our network. Yeah,
I definitely see you active on social media, which helps. Sometimes I talk to agents and they're like, I rarely post or this or that, and like, that's where people's eyeballs are.
Yeah.
If you look at screen times on your weekly screen time report on your phone, like,
oh, I don't even want to look at mine. Mine's probably so bad.
No, I mean, I'm on there a lot making content. So mine's like 8-9 hours typically a day average.
But you know what's
But
crazy?
I'm always making content on there, so that's where people's eyeballs are. So if you're not putting content out there, people aren't seeing you.
But I just had my first guy that I hired. He's 56 years old. He's been in real estate for 25 years. And this is so crazy. Like, so social media is obviously so important. That's what, has grown 95% of my team. But this one example is I was meeting with a new agent that's coming on board next week with me. And while I was meeting with him at a Starbucks, just a public place, you know how everybody sits pretty tightly together at a Starbucks. And I get 40 minutes into this meeting with this other guy, and this guy Albert, he comes up and he's like, "Hey, I've been sitting here listening to you, and I'm an agent, and I honestly have to tell you, I pay $500 a month to get coached. This is, I swear." And he's like, "Honestly, what I've heard is far better than anything that I've ever paid for and listened to in the last 25 years. Here's my card. I want to be on your team." I was like, "What?" And this happened right in front of the new agent I was just signing on.
They probably thought it was staged.
I know, and it wasn't. It was so funny. And so I met with Albert. He's now on our team officially as of yesterday. And it's just so funny. It's like I said, you're authentic, you provide value, you're in public places, people hear you talk, and then boom.
That's an interesting story, because I think COVID was really good, which I guess now they're going to slap a warning on this podcast, but COVID was really good for EXP because they were a virtual model and they weren't in offices before then. But I think this is a good reminder of the value of getting face-to-face with people, even though this is a virtual world. And, you can, with this model, you can have agents in 50 states, 24 countries, right?
Right.
But there's still, so obviously you're not going to have lunch with someone that you're bringing on in Texas, right? But when you can, there's so much value in getting together still.
No, I feel like an old soul.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm 29, but I'm at heart, I hate texting. I'm big on I'm picking up the phone, I'm calling you. I'm gonna FaceTime you while I'm putting my makeup on. I want to know, I want to see, even if you're not in the same state. I want to connect with you more than just behind words through a message. And I do think between doing that as much as you can, but getting in person, having events like HyperFast, I think is so important because it's a time for my entire team to not only network with each other, but everybody in the room and other agents that are outside of EXP that are providing so much value. And so I'm excited for them to get to experience that this coming week.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. This will be aired after that. So if you're watching this, you missed it, but go to hyperfastagent.com or follow me on Instagram. You can learn when the next one is. But yeah, no, the events, getting together and meeting people, learning, it gives you energy.
Yeah.
Gets you connection. It just motivates you more, right? So you take it in a little bit.
There's it's an accountability with it, when you're with people in person, and I just love it. I think it's really
So if people are out there listening, watching, and they're interested in learning more about working with you, and they can be anywhere, right?
Right, anywhere.
What should they do?
Honestly, there's several ways. I mean, anybody can go on my social media. My Instagram is Kacie Anderson Official. My TikTok is Real Kacie Anderson. You can text me. My phone number, okay, I hope nobody sends me crazy stuff, but my phone number is 443-340-2200. And so anyone can text me, call me. I'm a mom, so being parents, we're up early and up late. So I communicate pretty quickly to people. Unless I'm face-to-face with someone at a listing or showing a client a house. But yeah, pretty easy to contact me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. To all of our listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning in. Please share this episode with other real estate agents or people that you think would be interested in learning about being a real estate agent. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.